Sup, y'all? Welcome to the CrossForge Gaming Podcast. My name is Patrick Ryan, otherwise known as Huge Cow Patty or HCP for short. And today I am joined by my panel of two people. Well, me, three people if you count me, which you should count me. I'm an important addition to this podcast. Thank you. We have one supportive you count and one non-supportive laughing at me. So
you can tell who's the one who's sucking up right now.
That's right. Let's start with the dissenter, Jimmy. How you doing?
Yar.
And then Mr. Nolan Brown.
Yes.
How you guys doing tonight?
I'm okay, I guess.
Yeah. Has that a tropical storm worked its way up to your neck of the woods?
About 4 or 5 days now. It's been going strong. It's been real bad through times last night and today, but yeah. You're like straight south from me, so I mean, if it's hitting you, everything that's hitting you is going to hit me. So
that's true. It hasn't really been that bad here. I went to an outdoor wedding on Saturday, and we were really, really worried that the tropical storm was going to mess it up. No rain. I mean, it got cloudy, but it didn't rain at all.
Here's the thing: you go to Chattanooga. And I went into town today to go to Best Buy and the bank and whatnot and everything to look around, and blue skies. 1 or 2 fluffies, and exactly 1 mile from my exit to my house, it became basically, the Tommy knockers. Just some think of, okay, opening scene to It. That's what it was. It was just clowns in the sewers and everything. I mean, it was awful. But yeah.
How about you, Nolan?
I had a root canal this morning.
That's fun.
And then I went to work. And then now I'm here.
You don't get a doctor's note for having a root canal? I don't know. I've never had one.
I got out of... Well, I took the morning off of my job at my church in order to do that. But then for the camp, I had to be there.
Yeah, no AV production while stoned on codeine, brother.
No.
No, I didn't get codeine.
Not allowed.
They did give me a prescription for Vicodin, but I didn't need that, though.
There you go. Pop 2 of those before your stream on Thursday.
Yeah.
And then just start shoving chili peppers up your nose and ghost peppers in your ears.
Look at me, guys.
What are you playing, Bloodborne?
Yes.
Every time you die, Vicodin.
No. No, I'm good, thank you. I wouldn't
We at CrossForge Gaming do not condone the abuse of
abusing.
I wouldn't do that with Tylenol.
Oh, why would you, man? That's liver damage waiting to happen.
Right.
Exactly. Or ibuprofen, I guess, because we don't have Tylenol. But
yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you have a gas station down the street. You can go get some if you really wanted.
Yeah, we could, but there's no point. But no, I would not. God, if I popped Vicodin every time. Oh.
I'll tell you what, man. After my accident a couple years back.
End of that, but I'm sure I would be having an issue with something that I feel like that'd be some kind of violation of Twitch.
Yeah. You know what? I will look that up and let you know. But
let me know.
After my accident a couple years back, and they gave me one opioid after another. When it was finally time for me to stop, man, it was bad, and I'd only been taking it for a couple of weeks. I was like, withdrawal sucks, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's part of why. Like, I had my knee surgery, and I was like, that was one thing that I'm really glad. Like, my mom was like, hey, you're taking one of these every, like, I think it was like 8 hours, and you're not getting more of them. Like, you're not gonna get. I don't want you to get like have an issue with this, and I didn't, thankfully, because I know that it very well could have. But
yeah.
Because I only want to say I'm like House and that I have the knee injury. I don't want to actually be addicted to Vicodin as well.
Funny thing is that Hugh Laurie actually developed a leg problem by walking with that cane.
I could see that.
It does. Well, I've had like my other knee hurt because like I favor that side sometimes, like from the limp, and it's just like, yeah, like I.
It's one of the reasons why I try not to use my cane as often as possible, because I end up feeling even worse after I do use it.
Right.
Well, now that we're done talking about how old we are, let's we're gonna hop into some news. But before we do that, I get to do one of these fun live reads that Jimmy said is. How did you describe it?
Completely optional.
I mean, maybe, but I'm going to read that anyway. CrossForge Gaming is proud to be a humble partner. Pay what you want for a selection of fantastic games and support your favorite charities, game developers, and CrossForge Gaming. Pay more than the average to unlock additional games and content, or pay a little more than that for a lot more games and content. Once you've decided how much you'd like to pay, you can adjust what percentage of your money goes to charity or the developer. You can even set some aside to help Humble Bundle with their cost, or send some over to us here at CrossForge Gaming. Humble Bundle offers game bundles, book bundles, bundles to help you learn new skills, and even a Loot Crate style Humble monthly bundle, which gets you awesome games every month for just $12. They even have a regular store where you can buy games individually. So click the Humble Partner link in the description of this podcast, get yourself some great content, and help out your favorite charities.
I believe we've made like $7 this month off of that.
Sweet.
Nice.
$7. We are rolling in it now.
It's about what, 30 cents a day, something like that?
Sure. Sounds good to me. Don't have to do math right off the top. I'm good at math, but
Yeah, where's Ned when you need him?
I'm in nerd mode right now.
I can do math.
Yeah. Okay. So if we have $7 and we're on day 29,
Mm-hmm.
how many pennies a day is that?
How many pennies a day?
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't know. Trying to.
Yeah. Well, while you figure that out, I'm gonna.
Wait. Hold on. Does
24.
that actually say stream like there's nobody watching?
Yes, and there's zeros for the viewers watching, and yes,
Dude, okay, let me tell you. I'm glad that you emulate my daily stream cycle.
Well, I thought it was funny because I was like, I got this from the PAX website because I was looking for tickets to PAX because I'm like, that would be really cool to do. And then, surprise, surprise, they weren't open yet. And then I think they're sold out already. But
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah,
In like
there-
5
it's like-
minutes.
an ad for the T-shirt popped up. I'm like, that's funny. I like that. So I got this a couple weeks ago. But yeah, I've worn it on stream before. I don't think anyone noticed it, but yeah.
Well, if you haven't noticed anything about me, I notice random crap. So,
And I don't notice things that are staring me in the face. So.
right.
All right. So now on to our news. Jimmy mentioned Agony, and it's on my document here to talk about. And I was like, what's Agony? It's a new game that just released today, actually.
Oh wait,
We're
is
not-
that one? I'm sorry, you're about to talk about it. I'll shut up.
Yeah, we'll get to it. So first off, the first bit of news is stuff that's happening at CrossForge Gaming. So this weekend, Community Game Night is returning officially. I had to take the month of May off for other responsibilities that I had, and Josh, bless his heart, did his best to fill in for me. Jimmy, how did Jackbox go?
I didn't want to play.
Because of...
Oh, no, absolutely not. Not at all because of Josh.
I haven't got to watch it.
It was, I mean, I imagine that those who were there did have fun. I just, for some reason, one reason or another, I just wasn't feeling it. So I bailed after a couple of games, which is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
But he's certainly no cow patty. I mean,
Aw.
yeah.
I'm both honored and feel sad for Josh at the same time. We love you, Josh, even though you're not here. So that's coming back this Friday. We're doing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch. There is a small change to how we're doing this. So a while back, I took a poll of what games people wanted to play, and actually the poll got a lot bigger response than I anticipated. Now, considering the fact that we have how many community members do we have?
316.
300, yeah, and it wasn't quite that much when I took the poll, but so at the time we had close to 300 members. It was still a very small portion of the community, but considering how few people in the community are regularly active, I thought the poll did pretty well. However, when I would then schedule to play these games, practically nobody would show up. And then I'm like 20 minutes before I'm supposed to go on with this multiplayer game, and I have nobody to play with, scrambling to get people in to play. And most of the time it worked out pretty good. You know, I'd be like, hey, real quick, go download Fortnite. It's free, and just come play with me. I don't care if you think you're going to like it or not. I need someone to play with. And most of the time we wind up having fun. But I would like to change that. So what we're going to do from now on is community game night is actually going to be a whole lot more like Jackbox Party Pack, just with other games. So instead of we're hoping to have, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I can have 12 people playing simultaneously. So me and 11 other people. Instead of hoping that 11 people show up to, or even 3 other people show up to play with me, I am actually going to go out and seek other people in the kind of the greater Christian geek community to come and play with me. So of course you'll have your CFG contributors like us here, and other people who have the different games. And of course, some people like playing some of the games that I like to play, and other people don't like playing some of the games. And so you'll get a nice little variety. Why, Windows, do you want to restart right now? No. Delay that. Thank you. Okay. But it'll be with other games. So this week is Mario Kart. I do know that LJ of Geeks Under Grace is going to be joining us. I've asked a few other people that I have not gotten yes or no's from yet. I did send them like invites really late last night, so hopefully in the next day or two I'll find out. But then if there's any space left, once I have all the people that I know are coming, which with Mario Kart there probably will be, because like I said, I can fit 12 people in Mario Kart. Then yeah, we'll have those spaces open for community members. But this way, I'm not relying on it and then having to scramble to put together a game. So that's what's going on with that. So this week, Mario Kart. Next week will be Jackbox Party Pack because it's the second Friday of the month. I haven't figured out what I'm playing the Friday after that, but you all will know. Go check out the event section of facebook.com/CrossForwardGaming, and you'll get all the updates for that. All right. Game releases this week. We were talking about one before we started recording. Agony's coming out for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and that actually came out on today, the day that we're recording. So by the time you're hearing this, it'll at least be yesterday. So Jimmy, you picked that up for what?
I got it through Steam, and it's actually on sale limited time to till June 6th. So it's like 10% off or something like that. But hey, I'm going to do my best Patty impression real quick, right?
Okay.
While I'm discussing this game. Okay. So I got this whole game of Agony, yeah, and I'm going to put it up there and...
Yep. I knew that's where that was going.
Right.
I always feel like you've seen Talladega Nights, right?
I have.
And I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. That's me.
Right. I haven't actually opened it up yet. I've installed it. I haven't opened it. I figured if Ned wasn't up too late, I would start streaming it on my spooky horror game sort of deal. But if he is up late, then I'll probably do some tomorrow in the daytime and have nobody watching, same as basically any other time I stream. So I shared the preview video for this like last year and thought it looked really cool and thought it standed, a snowball's chance in hell of actually making it. Because most of those cool trailers that you see never actually become full games.
Right.
Of course.
But this one apparently did. So honestly, I'm still waiting for the remake of Clay Fighter, but that's just me.
That would be cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
Although I'm looking at this thing, this looks pretty good.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know because I'll be interested, especially if it's on sale still.
Well, you got until the 6th. I'll probably record the gameplay and send it to what's his face, that guy who does the stuff, and have him do it. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember him. Like, I can see his face.
Sod?
No, not a sod. He doesn't matter. Well, he's not here. No, he's the audio guy. I'm thinking
Judah?
Judah.
Okay.
See,
okay.
No. I kept thinking of Bobby's son. His name, Jubal.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, no, that's not right. He's gonna get mad if I say that. But no, I'll probably send the raw footage to Judah and see if he can do something with it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a funny guy. At least when it comes to that. So
cool. All right.
Maybe-
And then Everspace, PlayStation 4 exclusive, also out. Actually, all of these are Tuesday, so there's no releases, no big releases on Friday. Anyway, then we have Nolan, you got a PS4. Do you know what this is? Everspace.
I do not. I feel like I've heard of it.
He did again. I feel like.
Yeah. So for those of you wondering what the heck was that about, before the show started, Jimmy pointed out that both Josh and I say "I feel like" instead of "I think" a lot.
I go back and forth.
I'm gonna be like subconscious about it.
Playing anything. No way.
Wait, is this only on PS4?
It says, today.
Hey, Google it. It's saying Steam right here.
Maybe it was on Steam like a while ago, and it just came out for PS4 today.
Maybe so.
So, anyway.
Well, that's because PS4 is the inferior system.
Sick burn.
As opposed to a high quality gaming computer. Yes.
As opposed to everything but PlayStation. Even Nintendo is better, which is a sad, sad, horrible thing.
Wow. You heard it here first. Nintendo is better.
Yep. Then Sony.
No.
No. The thing is that it's not that it's better. It's just that it sucks less. I would like to see that bobblehead you have up there, Nolan. That man with the
Which
jug.
bobblehead?
Man with the jug.
You mean this one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Is that Duck Dynasty guy?
It is. It is, in fact.
I only noticed it because it reminds me of my cowboy that I got.
I was gonna say of your Jonah Hex.
Sorry, I'm a little all over the place today.
It's okay. It's all good.
Someone has to be.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm tangent guy, so
Let's see.
So
it's a roguelike.
Oh.
Space Combat apparently has a great story.
Who was it was it Bobby that said
heard
that
of this.
roguelike was just for
I think
lazy game development or something like that?
I'll be honest.
I think
The only roguelike I know is only a pseudo roguelike, and that's Hollow Knight, and it's an amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
Which I almost wouldn't even call that a roguelike. Like it is, but it's I don't know.
That's why
When
I
think
did
of
say
roguelike-
pseudo.
So
Okay.
a true roguelike is you die and you start the whole game completely over, but with all of your stuff, right?
Yeah,
No.
like Binding of Isaac is my go-to for roguelikes. is what I think.
Dead Rising.
Yeah, say Dead Rising would be a roguelike because when you die, you have to start over.
That was a game that frustrated the piss out of me for years.
I think that's the only roguelike, the only true roguelike I've ever played that I liked.
I
it
died
was just-
probably 50 times before I figured out how to get past the first boss.
Aw, that would be frustrating. I don't even remember what the first boss was.
I'm bad at games. A guy behind like the food stalls running around
Oh,
with a pistol.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like FTL, I guess.
Crazy people. Mm-hmm. Then we have Legend of K Anniversary. I don't even know what Legend of K without the anniversary is, but that's coming to Switch.
It's about
I
cereal.
remember
Makes sense.
Special K.
Special K.
Well,
Yeah,
at this
I've
point,
heard of it
it's a
before, but I've never played it. I know what it looks like because the like title thing looks just like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that's
Okay.
what I thought it was at first.
game.
And it was, and it also reminds me of like Legend of Korra for that. But yeah,
The original Legend of K was on the PS2. Wow, really late PS2 game, February 4th, 2005, because the PS3 came out in 06.
Only PS2 game that was any good was this game.
disagree.
This game was on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii U. The thing's been on like everything.
You know, a hallmark of a game that's absolutely terrible is one that's been released on several systems and several generations.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Sorry. It had to be said.
Coincidentally, I started playing Skyrim on Switch, and it's the first time I actually enjoyed the game.
That's what I've heard that it actually
Maybe
is
I should
really
try
good.
that.
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that I could just pick it up whenever. Like, you know, I really thought Switch was going to bomb, just like be awful, and it is less awful than I anticipated. I enjoy a lot more than I expected.
If it keeps selling the way that it has been, it's gonna pass the PS4 before the consoles refresh.
I would tell you the thing that'll make me drop it is, number one, if it just becomes a portable Steam library, which at the moment it pretty much is, and two, if Pokemon Go integration actually happens.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll happen, but
it needs some more like solid like
first
core
party
games. Like, yeah, like.
But not Mario,
honest, like,
man.
I don't really enjoy Breath of the Wild that much. Just because I know, hold on. Is because it is an open world game, which I like those, but I start it and then I don't ever finish it. I get a certain amount in and I'm just like, it's all about side quests and I just lose interest immediately.
Yeah. So
it really bums me out. And then I just...
Yeah, Breath of the Wild was the first. I always hear open world as being like a big selling point. I've only ever completed the story in 2 open world games, and that is Grand Theft Auto 5 and Breath of the Wild. And honestly, the reason that I didn't really care so much about the story or the character switching in GTA 5, I was just so kind of in awe over the world and how alive it felt.
Yeah.
Like I found myself one day standing, and I don't know, like I got up to get something to drink or something. And when I came back, I didn't pause the game for one reason or another. And when I came back, I noticed that the power lines were swaying, but not just indiscriminately. They were only swaying because the wind was blowing. And then when the wind stopped blowing, the power lines stopped swaying. And like it was that, and I know that sounds like an incredibly dorky thing to kind of be in awe over, but it's like I've never seen anything like that before in a game. And then in Breath of the Wild, if it wouldn't have been for the climbing mechanic and the fact that I could literally go anywhere that I wanted to, I probably would have got just as bored with it as I get with Skyrim or any of these other open world games. But I think, yeah, I don't see open world as a selling point. In fact, when Nintendo announced that Breath of the Wild was going to be open world, that was almost enough for me to just right away go, I don't know that I'm going to play this game.
Well, I'll tell you the 2 things that made me dislike it. Number one, the thing that made me quit was that I accidentally fought Ganon way too early.
Yeah.
And then I realized I already know what he looks like, and there's no surprise. It's not worth me going back and beating all these other ancient artifacts to go fight him again. Let's make it 3 things. Number 2, I don't like the destructive weapons.
I despise that
mechanic. Because I got stuck to the point where I had no weapons to use, and I couldn't go anywhere because I didn't have any weapons. I'm like, well, plus I am terrible at the parrying in that game.
Number 3, I hate the fact that he has an iPhone. That bugs me.
I mean, he has a Wii U gamepad.
Whatever. Nobody likes the Wii U, so I mean, that's even more reason for me to hate him.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy that game, but as for open world games, I think the only one that I can remember off the top of my head actually beating, I completed Oblivion and all of its DLCs. I completed the main story to the original Saints Row, and I think Saints Row 2, before they just went off the deep end silly. And maybe the first couple Assassin's Creeds, if you can really count those as open world.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Ish.
Yeah. Oh, I guess if Shadow of Mordor counts as open world, I beat that. It was okay. I think I really just beat it because I spent $60 on it and I felt like I had to.
Right.
I
feel like that's open world as much as Assassin's Creed is. I mean,
Arkham City, maybe.
I didn't play that one. I played Arkham Asylum.
I liked Arkham City.
Liked it a lot.
Arkham City was great about 3 weeks after it launched. It had the whole Battlefield 4 and Bethesda issues where it just did not want to work right.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, was Legend of K open world? Is that how we got off on that?
I
I don't
I
remember.
don't care.
Oh no! You said that the how you can tell a game is bad is if it gets released on everything, and then Nolan
multiple
coughed.
times. I said Skyrim.
Yeah,
That's right.
All right, that's how we got off on there. All right,
Yeah.
Tangents, awesome. Also coming out today is Sega Mega Drive Collection, which is really just a collection that you've seen released on everything else that's come out since the original Sega Mega Drive. This collection, I don't know because I haven't Googled it. It was probably on the Saturn, and then again on the Dreamcast, and then on the Xbox 360, and so on and so forth. So you probably have
the 360. It said it like 360 and the PS3 because I was checking to see, and I don't think it was on the Saturn. At least
well, hold on. Here we go.
PSP games.
Mm-hmm.
Is this specifically the Mega Drive collection? It has been released on PS2, PSP.
Yeah.
The PS.
No more comments. That's it. But it has Alex Kidd, Altered Beast, Bonanza Bros, Columns, Comic Zone, which was just ridiculous. Decap Attack, Echo the Dolphin, which, I mean, if you ever knew how to get past like the first 5 minutes without getting frustrated and pissed off and turning it off, then I salute you. Followed by his 2 sequels, Echo the Tides of Time and Echo Jr. Flicky, Gain Ground, Golden Axe, 1, 2, 3, Kid Chameleon, Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4, Rise Star, Shadow Dancer, Secret of Shinobi, Shinobi 3, Sonic, Sonic 2, Super Thunderblade, Sword of Vermilion, Vector Man 2, 2 of the greatest games ever, by the way. Virtua Fighter 2 with extra games for the PS2 and PSP, including Ultra Beast, Future Spy, Attack Scan, Zaxxon, Zektor, Astro Blaster, Congo Bongo, Eliminator, Space Fury, I almost read that as Space Furry, and Super Zaxxon.
Space Furry.
That's just Chewbacca.
Oh yeah, sure. That's where we're going with that.
All right, yeah. So that came out today, and Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. Now, is that like original Street Fighter?
If we're talking about Street Fighter 2, the one that I just saw at Best Buy today, that was a full price game for a 30-year-old game.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, right. I saw that. I'm like, what?
It's on PS4, X1, and Switch.
Yeah, well, I'm going to save my Street Fighter money for the collection so that I can play my alpha games again. Thank you very much.
Let's see. What is the 30th anniversary?
$30.
Street Fighter 30th Anniversary.
So you have 12 classic titles.
And it does say collection, so...
Let's see. So it's got Street Fighter 1, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter Alpha.
Okay, so that one did come out. Okay.
3,
I thought that one wasn't coming out until October.
Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Street Fighter 3 Next Generation, or New Generation, Super Street Fighter 2, Super Street Fighter 2 Second Impact, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition, Third Strike's Street Fighter 3.
Okay, so I gotta be honest, I really wish that they would go back to the pixelated hand-drawn art because I'm sick of these 2.5D games. I really hate the 3D models. I want to go back to the classic arcade fighters.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you can make Street Fighter Alpha 5 and throw in every freaking Street Fighter character you've ever made, then throw in Rival Schools characters. You could throw in EX plus Alpha if you ever bought the rights to those damn characters. And then, you know what, get SNK in there and say, hey guys, why don't you join this hullabaloo and throw in your, King of Fighters and Samurai Showdown and all them suckers and just make one big massive game.
That would be legit.
Heck
that would
yeah.
sell so much.
Absolutely, man.
I would buy that, and I don't like 2D Fighter.
I don't even like fighting games. I'm terrible at them. I'd buy that.
Well, I mean, my favorite fighting game of all time is Rival Schools. And a couple of their characters popped into a couple of one of the SNK versus games, like as a support character or something. And half of those characters are just clones of Street Fighter characters, but it was like the only 2.5D game besides the EX Plus Alpha I actually liked. And it was a fun game with an interesting story. It actually gave the backstory to Sakura, which you almost never see beyond the fact that she's just a little fangirl of Ryu. But it was a fun game. I really enjoyed it. It had all the Japanese anime stereotypes. The busty blonde American girl, the big black American guy, because all guys in America are either really tall and blonde or really tall and black.
Right, sure.
Then you had the
As is proved
schoolgirl.
from the three of us, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. And then you had the baseball star, the soccer star, the kendo captain, the stereotypical everybody. I mean, this game should have been called Street Fighter Tropes. So, I mean, it was great fun, though. I really enjoyed it. And it came out right around the same time as Alpha 3 did.
Cool. So, yeah, those are what you can go spend your hard-earned cash on, if you so please. All right. Normally, I would talk about the free games with all of your subscriptions coming out in June. But as of the recording this, they haven't been announced yet, which is a little weird. I would think like, oh, PS Plus hasn't announced yet, but Games with Gold and Twitch Prime are out there. Yeah, that'd be one thing. But I couldn't find any information on all three of them. So that was kind of weird. So on Thursday's episode, it won't be June quite yet. It'll be the last day of May, but hopefully we'll have that information for you so that you know what you're getting for free if you subscribe to any of those. All right, news. We might spend a lot more time on this section of the podcast than normal because there's a lot going on. So real quick, just because I think we'll probably skim over these two topics fairly quickly, I do want to point out Killer 7, which was a GameCube game, and I don't think it's been released for anything else, is coming to Steam later this fall. That game, if you're into really weird, freaky stuff, Killer 7's a good game.
Isn't that about the guy with like the split personalities?
Yes.
Okay.
It's weird. It was what's his name? Suda something?
Sudafed?
No.
I think I've heard of this.
I remember he did like a whole series of weird games, and this is why this game was popular.
And he was supposed to be putting out like a bunch of games for GameCube, and then like Killer 7 and one other of his games came out, and of course, since they were only on GameCube, they didn't sell very well. So Capcom kind of put the kibosh on releasing the rest of them. I think the rest of them eventually just came to PS2. And actually Killer 7 might have eventually worked its way over to PS2 as well. But anyway, it's a great game. It's coming to Steam in the fall. I don't think there was any information about price or exact date or anything like that. So just be on the lookout for that. It's a good game. Also, and I'm just seeing this, if you watch the Netflix Marvel shows, Rosario Dawson, who plays Claire Temple, she's the nurse I think she's the only character that has found her way involved in every single one of the shows somehow, because she's in Daredevil, she's in Jessica Jones, she's in Luke Cage. I haven't gotten to Iron Fist and Punisher yet, but
she is in Defenders.
Okay. She said at what is this some Comic-Con thing that she's not sure that she'll be back after season 2 of Luke Cage. So if that's something that you care about, that's floating around out there. Yeah, I don't know. I like her as a character, but like I'm not going to be devastated if she decides she's had enough.
Well, I mean, she was basically the Phil Coulson of the TV universe, and Phil Coulson died for a reason. So her leaving would not be a big deal, and they're pretty much replacing her with that cop who helped, what's his name, Luke Cage, when she got her arm ripped off in Defenders, and then basically she's filling one of the superhero roles that happened in the comics some number of years back. I wish they'd get rid of like Hogarth too, because that chick annoys me.
Who's Hogarth?
The lawyer lady.
Oh, who's played by Carrie-Anne Moss, Trinity from
she annoyed me in that movie too. That series.
Yeah.
Something about her face just really bothers me. It's too pinchy.
Yeah. She looks.
She's really aloof. That's what
looks
bothers
weird.
me.
And now everyone's going to take that out of context, and we hate women.
No, I hate them. I actually think she'd probably be a good person, but I hate that character with the passion.
Yeah. She's an awful. The character is an awful human being. If that's what they were going for, she did a really bang up job.
Oh, absolutely. Just like those annoying upper class people in the Hunger Games. Like the way they made those people just absolutely. I have never wanted to hate somebody so bad and felt like it was the right thing to do.
And then this one, I feel like we'll sit on it for a little while, but I don't have it actually written down here, so I want to make sure I don't forget it. But Bethesda has been teasing something about Fallout, like real hardcore, all day today. And actually, did it start yesterday? No, I think it started today. They tweeted a picture of the little please stand by thing that's in color, which I'm told by people who follow the Fallout universe. That's
usually
unusual. It's usually
It's
black
very
and white.
unusual. It's very unusual.
And then I think I read somewhere that they've just been streaming that picture with the little, what is it? Is it Fallout Boy?
You say Fallout Boy, I'm gonna throw a pie at you.
With him?
Fallout Boy is the radioactive man's assistant in The Simpsons, right?
I don't want to reach all the way over there and grab all my bobbleheads. I've got all special, so
anyway, if you remember from the podcast episode that we talked about the big Nintendo E3 leak, there was a thing in there about Fallout 3 10th year anniversary possibly coming to Switch, and now with this, it's looking like that could very well be the case, that there is a 10th anniversary of the game coming out. I have heard, now I'm not a big Fallout fan, Jimmy, you probably know way more about it than I do, but if some people I read like in a forum were talking about, because the please stand by thing is not in black and white, that maybe there's actually a new game or a piece of DLC coming out in addition to the 10th anniversary that's being rumored. I don't know, maybe that's I don't know.
I think it is not a reissue. I think a reissue is happening, absolutely, because they're not going to not pull a Skyrim on Fallout. Come on.
Yeah.
But I think it's a new game, and I think it's going to be loosely based on the original Fallout 3 that was going to happen.
So I'm assuming that was different than what we actually got.
Yes, the pre-Bethesda Fallout universe, the originally planned Fallout 3 game that was still going to be an isometric top-down game, just like the first two.
Mm-hmm.
So, because it is not canon, it was just a planned game. I'm not going to try to explain it because I don't really follow it being non-canon.
Mm-hmm.
But rumors are it's going to be set in Texas, and it's going to be basically more Wild West than we've been getting. But I gotta be honest, man, I really enjoyed Fallout 4, so I would be okay with them just remaking Fallout 3 in the Fallout 4 engine and adding settlements to it, because Fallout 3 was an amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it's not me. It's not me. You should really pull Ned in on this. But he's busy playing Fallout at the moment.
I'm actually playing Fallout, so well, maybe he'll be on Thursday, and we can revisit this.
He was chatting with Josh briefly about it. Speaking of which, where is Josh? Why isn't he here?
I don't know. It's weird.
Slacker.
All right, and then so now into some of the more meatier things. I'm going to start at the bottom one that we have here, because
the meaty bottom.
Yes. So PUBG Corp, which is a division of Bluehole, or maybe it's the other way around. Is Bluehole part of PUBG Corp, or is PUBG Corp part of Bluehole?
I think they're one of the same.
Okay. That's actually what they're called, is PUBG
Yes.
Corp.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like
it was
Pokemon
Bluehole.
company.
I think it was Bluehole before they became PUBG Corp.
Well, yeah, PUBG put them on the map.
Yeah, because they do have other products.
Yeah, it's a Korean company, if I recall correctly.
Yes. And they are, at the very least, partially owned by Microsoft now. I don't think they're wholly owned by them. But Microsoft has dumped a significant amount of money into PUBG Corp. You can't tell by how buggy the game is, but that's another story for another time. They are suing.
Gotten better.
They are suing Epic Games over similarities between PUBG and Fortnite. Now, before anybody just says, "Oh, they're trying to own the genre," according to them, that's not actually why they're doing it. The reason they're doing it is because, I didn't know this until the story came out, PUBG runs on the Unreal 4 engine, which of course Epic Games makes. And you would assume that if you're licensing an engine from a company, that they're going to do what they can to help support you in making your game. And of course, PUBG Corp has been paying a lot of licensing fees to Epic Games for Epic to just turn around and make what's not really a PUBG clone, but was very clearly inspired by PUBG and is kicking their butts.
Well, maybe it's not a clone, but it is a direct competitor.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's
got to be a breach of a contract somewhere. I mean, there has to be a no compete clause in there.
And I think that's what Bluehole is getting at, is that if it weren't for the fact that they're using Epic Games' engine, that this wouldn't really be an issue.
Right.
But because of that,
you also got to consider PUBG is not really dying, regardless of how popular Fortnite is with all the. I'm not going to say what I really want to say about people who play Fortnite, but
you can tell.
Okay. No, I honestly can't. We're a Christian channel. Fortnite has become incredibly popular, and I got to be honest, I don't do enough cocaine to keep up with them. So it's ridiculous. I don't want to play with NBA stars and pro wrestlers and whatnot that much.
Yeah, there is and I don't want to sound like, I don't know, like comic book guy from The Simpsons, but I feel like
worst game ever.
But I'm probably going to when I say this. When a game reaches a point where, like, see, one of the great things about Twitch, I think, and about esports in general, is that all you really need to get into it is a computer or whatever, console you're running the thing on, and the ability to stream to the internet, and anybody can do it. And when you start bringing in, like, I don't know what Drake was playing it, and now all of a sudden people are watching Fortnite, not really because they want to see Fortnite, but because they want to see Drake. Like, I don't know. I feel like it loses something.
Well, it's the same thing. I popped into Twitch and I accidentally found Deadmau5, and he was playing PUBG. And the only reason why I found Deadmau5 was because he was on the front page, and he had been on Twitch for 2 freaking days.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that
pissed me off.
And that's ridiculous. And
he had like 3,000 followers. I watched 3,000 followers follow him, right. And he may be a nice guy, but in this setting where he still was acting like he's by himself, he's an absolute prick.
Oh yeah,
and he's got a stupid haircut.
I don't think I've ever seen him without that goofy Mickey Mouse foam thing on his.
He looks better with the helmet on. He does.
Yeah.
Far more dashing a gentleman. Let's put it that way.
Right. And so where I was going with that was, like, if you want to get good at, if you want to be famous for playing football, there's a pretty high barrier for entry to that. You probably went to college for football, and you're having to. It's expensive, and it's not something that just anybody can do. But playing video games or something, or even if you're really good at music and you want to put your stuff up on YouTube and develop a following around there, that's a really good way to do that. And it's kind of like the great equalizer until Taylor Swift decides, oh, my next album is going to be a YouTube exclusive. And now it's like, well, okay, thanks for stealing my thunder, miss. I could have put this on anything that I wanted to, but I decided to come over here and take the one piece of the pie that was mine away from me.
I've got a couple of counter arguments to that.
Okay.
Number one, I am a rampant capitalist, and I believe that YouTube has the right to make deals with whomsoever they like, and every person who's making a living has every right to do whatever they can to put as much in their pockets as they can. So if Taylor Swift, or more realistically and less angrily, Weird Al Yankovic decides to do YouTube-only releases, then I feel fine, and I feel that it's better that I step up my game because they have a head start on me.
Right.
Number two, YouTube may be the great equalizer, but it is not without its mistakes. Look at Bieber.
Yeah, he was discovered on YouTube. Thanks, Canada.
Speaking of Canada,
wait, where is something on here from Canada?
yes,
Deadpool.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
We weren't there yet, so I was like, is Elon Musk from Canada?
No, he's actually South African.
Okay. Anyway, so before we get on to that, yeah, so PUBG Corp is suing Epic Games. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. I am really curious to know how that unfolds. Apparently, the lawsuit was filed back in January. Not really sure why it's become like the hot news all of a sudden.
Because it's a slow news day.
Yeah, probably. All right. Since I mentioned Elon Musk, if you are on Twitter, and if you are, I'm sorry. Twitter to me is like, it's like a not quite as bad Tumblr. But even then, when I say not quite as bad, I mean like they're close.
If I were to describe Tumblr in comparison to Twitter, I would say in order to get Tumblr, you have to take Twitter and then have it have nasty, steamy, relations with DeviantArt, and then that is what Tumblr is.
That's a good,
pretty accurate.
So Elon Musk, if you don't know who Elon Musk is, he is an entrepreneur, an inventor. He is the founder of SpaceX. He's trying to send rockets up into space.
He sells flamethrowers.
He sells flamethrowers. He created the Tesla car.
No, he did not.
He didn't?
No.
Isn't he related to Tesla somehow?
He owns Tesla.
No, he's the CEO and a majority shareholder, but he does not specifically own it, and he did not found it. He did not start it. He came in after the fact. He was an investor.
Okay.
Angel investor type. That's something that bugs me whenever he's the founder of. No, he's not. No, he's not. Just like Steve Jobs is not the first guy to do Apple. Just like Bill Gates was not the first guy to do Microsoft. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
No, it's one of several.
Yeah.
I'm very picky about that.
So he put up a poll on Twitter, and let me get to the poll so that I can make sure that I am accurate in what it is that he did exactly. I'm on his Twitter page right now.
Twitter page,
Twitter feed. Okay, so what are you bugging me about? Dadgummit, Twitter. I was there, and then something happened, and I wasn't there anymore. Anyway, he put up a poll wanting to know if people thought that there should be some sort of user rate. Oh, here we go. Create a media credit. This is something that Elon Musk actually does quite a bit, where he'll just put an idea that he's got up on Twitter. Now, there's usually not a poll associated with it. It's just, hey, I have this idea, and maybe I'll do it, which I don't know. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, seems incredibly risky, because what's to stop somebody else from just taking your idea?
Same reason why Taylor Swift getting on YouTube is not really a problem, because you're still going up against somebody with all the resources in the world.
Right. True. So, yeah. So he's got this tweet: create a media credibility site, a rating site, and then in parentheses that also flags propaganda botnets. And then there's a poll, 2 options. Yes, this would be good. No, media are awesome. Yes, this would be good has 88% as of the time that I'm reading this. At some point, the percentage of yes, this would be good was a little bit lower, and the no, media are awesome was a little bit higher. And the longer the poll is up, the more the yes, this would be good gets better, and the no, media are awesome shrinks. And when he did, and he just, as far as I know, he didn't do this like thinking that he was going to be attacking any journalist in particular, or even trying to attack the journalism industry at all. Just, hey, this is a thing that I think would be a good idea. And the news media lost their freaking minds, writing articles about how this is a terrible idea, and probably without using these words, basically saying the media should be above criticism and scrutiny and on and on and on. And so Elon Musk starts defending himself like any good person would do. And it's just turned into a giant dumpster fire. And when I say that, I mean for the journalists, not for Elon Musk. I will say there's a couple tweets in here where I don't know exactly what Elon Musk is referring to, or I don't completely understand it, but I don't think it's because he's a raving lunatic. Like,
let me go ahead and say this. The reason why this whole exchange is fun to watch is the same reason why we buy comic books where Doctor Doom fights against Magneto. Okay, these are two supervillains clashing head to head. Okay, it's like Lex Luthor versus Hydra. Okay, genius billionaire versus a cabal of subversive, horrible, evil people, half of which don't even realize that they're subversive, horrible, evil people. Now, you said that the media should be above reproach and not with oversight and everything, and I think that's true. I think the media should be, but only because their behavior justifies being considered above reproach. And in the last 10, 15 years, that has not been the case. And Elon Musk himself saying things like this, he's becoming a target because he's starting to sound like, number 45. So that is a problem when big high profile people who are on the side of the left suddenly sound like the, literally Hitler. He becomes a target.
I don't know if this is actually Stan Lee's Twitter account, but it does have a blue check mark. I agree with that. Elon Musk that the media should be held accountable to tell the truth. Many reporters are honest, but fake news outlets like Hollywood Reporter should not be spreading lies. Go Elon.
Okay, the reason why that's real, contextually speaking, Hollywood Reporter, or whatever the name of it was, actually wrote a hit piece on Stan Lee and his family, saying horrible, and he ended up having to go up and say, hey, no, these guys are full of crap, and they didn't retract it or anything. So he has a dog in the fight, so to speak.
Yeah. So it's interesting. If you do have Twitter, like I said, you can go follow at Elon Musk.
Or sit on Facebook for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it'll creep into your feed. There's a Elon Musk spoof account called Bored Elon Musk.
I saw that.
Pretty funny, and it tweeted, "It's never been harder to be a parody account," and Elon Musk retweeted it.
I love when that happens. There's another parody account that's been going on for several years called Blake Bortles Facts. You know who Blake Bortles is?
Yeah.
Okay, quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, just universally hated by the media for some reason. He's a mediocre. He's not bad. He's not good. He's somewhere in between. But they crucify him every time they say his name in anything. And so this Blake Bortles Facts Twitter, and that I believe is at Blake Bortles Facts, one word. They say crazy things that are technically true, but make no real difference. Like for instance, Blake Bortles has never lost a Super Bowl to the Pittsburgh Steelers or something. Just random stuff. Or like if they're attacking someone specific, like Blake Bortles has never had a rule named after him for pussing out in a game, and they're making fun of Tom Brady or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I love these spoof accounts that get noted because Blake Bortles has retweeted several of these facts himself, and he's the chillest guy in the NFL. Like for real, he's a guy you probably hang out behind the Walmart drinking beers with.
That's funny.
Which actually is probably why he's not a very good quarterback.
Yeah. So the Bored Elon Musk, I'm on his feed right now. He's got so he just tweets stuff like actual Elon Musk does, just ideas, but a lot of these ideas are like, some of them sound like good ideas, but they're also ridiculous. Like here's one: clothing hangers with digital display that indicates how many days ago you wore an item. And no one would spend that kind of money on a clothes hanger that would, the price of that would be stupid
Sky
for a
Mall.
clothes hanger. But at the same time, you're like, I mean, that would be
It
useful.
sounds incredibly useful. Yeah, I was like, that sounds incredibly useful.
I wouldn't
Well,
pay for it, but I would
okay.
have had it.
No, the problem with that is that it sounds like it's a ripoff of the Barbie Dream House cartoon that my daughter watches. She has a smart closet that does that.
Oh,
But it sounds like a Sky Mall product, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm like, what? That sounds like a Sky
Oh.
product.
Then there's screens and elevators that play random YouTube clips timed to the length of your ride. That's interesting.
That would be cool.
Isn't that like a
Anyway.
taxi cab thing?
Maybe it might be. So anyway, it's a funny account if you want to go follow fake bored Elon Musk as opposed to actually. You should follow both of them because they're both great though. All right.
Oh, hold on. There was that lady who said to Elon Musk. Elon Musk had done one of his random tweets where he was talking about something amazing that he did that like nobody ever else does. Like, we just had an awesome space launch today or whatever, and this hippie chick is like, well, why didn't you not do that instead and give that money to a food shelter or whatever, a food bank?
Yeah.
And there was this long, like 30-page just tirade while this girl gets ripped to pieces by Elon himself, who has a very venomous tongue, by the way, and probably 100 different other people. And about halfway through, she just stopped responding. But it was brutal. But yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what.
And then, so there's also an article here. I got the article from Screen Rant. I mean, I kind of glanced through it. It's sort of I'm not sure how much of this is actually rooted in reality, because Screen Rant they do mostly movies and occasionally they do game stuff. This just happened to be the article that I found. But pre-orders for the Atari VCS go up on May 30th, which by the time you're listening to this is either today or in the past. Other than the fact that this is not like a traditional game console, and that it's Atari, I don't know a ton about it.
I don't know.
It's got wood paneling.
Okay, well, I see that it has wood paneling. There's an original Atari style, joystick thing, and then there's also one that looks kind of like the Switch Pro controller and the Xbox One controller had a baby.
Yeah.
All these weird hybrids, man.
With
Apparently it's got a modern AMD processor and will support 4K resolution.
Because who doesn't want Space Invaders and it's 8-bit glory on a 4K screen?
Man, if I don't have Space Invaders in 4K, then what's the point?
You know what? It's going to be a re-release, and the number one game on there is going to be E.T.
So if you pre-order it, and it doesn't say how long this is good for, but if you pre-order it, you can get the device for $200, which is apparently a discount.
Oh, it had better be amazing if 200 is a discount.
It comes with 100 games.
Don't see what.
Yeah, but 100 like $1 games is still.
It's really just
Pre-order this game for $200. This thing for $200, and it's not planned to come out until spring of next year.
Okay, so how about this? Instead, I will get a Raspberry Pi, throw an emulator on it, and 3D print my own Atari case.
I'm down.
You could do
Okay.
that, but
Let's do it.
but will it be 4K? No.
Will any of those games be 4K? That's the question.
Well, I don't know. That's what I don't understand.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'll put
the
this.
new Space Invaders. Have you guys seen like the secondary Space Invaders that came out like 10, 15 years ago or something? This is basically a twin stick shooter or something.
Oh yeah,
It just sucked hardcore. It was,
right.
oh.
Okay, well, I will put this out. Knowing you being a Nintendo fanboy, Patrick, you buy pretty much anything that says Nintendo because it's hard-coded in your DNA. I am the anti-Nintendo. Despite the fact that I grew up with Nintendo and I have played pretty much all the systems, I still preferred my Genesis. So if Sega popped out and said, hey, we're doing, the Genesis 2020, I would be the first in line.
Yeah.
If Atari comes out and says, hey, this game system has a whole bunch of our old arcade classics and whatnot, and it can accept cartridges of new stuff we're making now, I would be right there, because it is my one true regret in this life that I never got a Jaguar. I love the classic game systems. I want the console wars to go back to, you know, the old days, man. I want to see Nintendo versus Sega. I want to see Atari trying to catch back up. I want to see freaking ColecoVision 1. You know, I want to see all that stuff. I want to see everyone make a comeback, because Microsoft, as much as I have been stuck in their system because for some reason they were wise and created the whole achievements thing, and most of my games are cross-platform between, you know, Xbox and computer now. And the fact that Sony had several games I enjoyed, I still am a hardcore, you know, retro guy. I am the Civil War reenactor. I am the Genesis fanboy, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Give me Vector Man or give me death. That's all I'm saying.
So according to the press release on Atari's website, it's a retro inspired, but it's not a retro box. It'll be fully customizable entertainment experience. This means access to a vast array of games, media, and streaming content options. It looks like the old Atari, and it comes preloaded with 100 classic games, including Asteroid, Centipede, Breakout, Missile Command, Gravatar, and Yar's Revenge, and a growing list of games. What I'm confused about here, though, is will it take cartridges? Can you load additional games to it? Is it online only? Like, there's no information in this press release about that.
Well, I'm looking at it, and the information that you're reading now is the same information they put out when they first announced it. And so nothing has really changed there. And the visuals would suggest that no, it cannot take a cartridge.
Right.
I don't even see a disc slot. I don't see any I/O jacks in the back or anything, so I don't know about that. But I will say I will be sorely disappointed if it turns out to be an Atari emulator for 100 games, and then it's nothing more than like a Netflix streamer or, you know, a Steam box.
Right.
I will be really upset, because I hold Atari to high standards, man. These guys were the name in gaming for a long time. So, despite E.T.
And you mentioned ColecoVision, and I thought it was them, but it turns out it's not. It's Intellivision is apparently also doing something later this year.
Yeah, I read about them, but I don't care.
I don't have much to say about that. So, and then also real quick, even though I didn't think it was very nerd related, but it is interesting, so I'll bring it up. If you missed it earlier today or yesterday, by the time y'all are listening to this, the hugely popular relaunch of Roseanne has been canceled because Roseanne said something naughty on Twitter.
So what's new?
I was going to say,
that's what I'm like. I don't, and I went and read what she tweeted, and sure, was it tasteless? Yeah. So is the show Roseanne. What were you expecting?
Yeah, I don't know.
Tasteless. I don't think that's the right word for it, because it's never been tasteless. It's always been pushing the boundaries of what's decent, but it always had moral stories to it and relatable situations. So, I mean, there are still episodes from that stick to my psyche. Like, everybody looks back at, Fresh Prince and says, oh, that one episode where Will Smith, was talking about his dad leaving him, and he cried and blah, blah, blah. That was the thing. Well, I can look back at Roseanne and think and put my finger on several episodes that stick to me, like the one where Dan beat the hell out of the guy who was beating Jackie. I mean, that Dan Connor is the kind of guy that I always aspired to be like. Decent humor, hardworking, and not as fat as his wife. So,
it's interesting that you say that, because as a kid, I grew up in a fairly conservative Christian home, and if Focus on the Family told my parents that something was bad, then that meant it was bad, and I wasn't allowed to watch it. And so I never once saw an episode of Roseanne growing up. And it wasn't until my adult life that I ever saw any episodes of The Simpsons. And something that I found interesting about watching The Simpsons, and I never had the opportunity to go back and watch Roseanne. But I did have the opportunity to go back and watch The Simpsons, and I would go back, and something that interested me was that compared to father figures, and I bring that up because that was like the thing that Focus on the Family really harped on, was that Homer's a horrible dad, and he's an idiot, and he's just awful to his kids, and on and stuff like that. So I'm watching it as an adult, and I'm like, he's a bumbling buffoon. That's true. There's no arguing that. But at the end of the day, that guy would do just about anything. Actually, probably not even just about. Would do anything for Marge and for his kids. And a lot of fathers that are on TV wouldn't do that. A lot of them are deadbeats, or their only redeeming quality to the show is that they're dumb and that's funny.
Well, I mean, that's an indictment of most television now. For the last 20, 30 years, men have gone from, the Cleavers to the Griffins, from one way far side, or Andy Griffith all the way up to Homer Simpson. Well, yes, he would do anything for him, but he's still that idiot. He doesn't have the authority. He doesn't have the common sense. You go from stable, good fathers up to the modern time, where you have your Homer Simpsons, you have your Peter Griffin, you have your Mr. Watterson from Gumball. All these big, fat, lazy, slobbish, no power, no common sense men running a household, or not running the household, as the case may be. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a symptom, or rather a cause of part of the decline of the nuclear family. But you go back and you watch Roseanne, and yeah, there was a lot of really PG-13 plus content. And it was yelled at a lot. There was a big stink over it. If you remember Ellen, how it got canceled and how everybody raised hell when she came out as gay in the first show that she had. Well, they had the whole gay episode in Roseanne too. And then one of their main characters, or secondary characters, becomes permanently a lesbian in the show. And it was a big stink, just raising Cain all over the place. But despite the fact that Roseanne Barr herself is crass and evil, and well, not evil, but just really not a great person, if you want just role model types, her politics, and her politics are a mixture of like Green Party libertarian sort of deal. She's always very socially forward, while at the same time being a capitalist asshole. So it's really weird. But
yeah, she runs for stuff down here.
She ran for president a number of years back.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
Well, she developed an absolute hatred for Jill Stein because of that campaign. And I actually watched a documentary about it, and it was enlightening. But, throughout the course of the show, she came off as the strong, loudmouth, brash, in-your-face, not very nice person as a character. But she was still part of the hardworking, keep your family together types. And her husband, Dan Connor, who is basically, your Al Bundy, your Homer Simpson, your whatever, he was not an idiot, but he was kind of big and a little bumbling, but he was a man. Mm-hmm. He was a solid guy. He wasn't always, he wasn't rich like all the people in Modern Family, or basically any other, Friends or whatever, where you have the wicked expensive place or whatnot.
Yeah.
They lived in a house that they could just barely afford, with too few rooms, too much junk, and a lot of junk food. But he busted his butt, worked 50, 60 hours a week, and he lived by his principles, and he raised his kids by his principles. And moving all the way up to now, in the reboot that is now canceled, they kept his character pretty much solid the whole way. He never changed. He never became that reprehensible bad person. He was always a good role model. Even if he was not successful, he was a good human being.
Yeah.
And in that series, I think Dan Connor was legitimately the only good human being, because they all had realistic character flaws. They all had real issues. And I think if you get the opportunity, you should watch through Roseanne. It is not a bad show. I mean, it's crass, and you may not enjoy some of it, but it's got a lot of very special episodes. That type of feel to it. There's a lot of really heavy subject matter.
I watched episode 1 of the reboot and didn't like not keep going for any lack of desire to. It was just it's the only way that I had to watch it was it's on Hulu, and I don't find myself on Hulu very often, so it's
literally the only reason why I got Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you this: A&E, I think, was rerunning the entire series front to back, and I think it's probably not going to keep going now.
Yeah,
that makes me sad because I have no other way to catch up on the old episodes.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think we're through the news now. I think we're gonna move on. So I'm gonna do another live read. Are you tired of advertisement or something you probably don't want to see separating you from watching your favorite CFG Twitch streamer? Feeling left out when all your friends use cool exclusive emoticons that you just don't have access to? Well, then Twitch Prime is for you. Twitch Prime members get to watch their favorite Twitch streams like As Played by Ned or Jackbox Party Pack Nights without having to sit through ads. Get access to free games and in-game content, exclusive emoticons to use in chat, a free subscription to one Twitch partnered or affiliate channel, and a Twitch Prime members only chat badge so you can stand out in the chat and make all your friends break the 10th commandment. Twitch Prime members also get Amazon Prime, giving you access to free 2-day shipping on eligible purchases from Amazon.com, Amazon Prime Music, and Amazon Prime Instant Video. CrossForge Gaming also happens to be an Amazon affiliate, giving you more ways to support CFG by doing things you already do anyway. So click the link in the description below to try Twitch Prime free for 30 days. What's so funny?
Oh, Jason's back.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was something I said, and I'm like, I don't feel like this is that funny. I wasn't trying to make it funny.
No, you're good.
Okay. So